Hi guys, we're actually at the cusp of May. It's Beltane weekend and I've had a busy couple of weeks, so I thought I would give you a tour of how the garden's coming on. Got a nice tulip there, got some pots to plant on. My marigolds or calendula are starting to sprout. Got some beautiful forget-me-nots. And then over here, got some pretty pansies. In the middle there are fuchsias and pansies there. And these are wildflower seeds that are starting to sprout. It's been a gorgeous day, which has culminated in a rain shower. So I'm going to take you around to the vegetable garden, or rather patio, and I've moved everything here now. It used to be all, well, come along with me, I'll show you. Look at this beautiful plant. And these gorgeous flowers. I used to have everything around here, which is ideal for when they're starting off in like February and March, but it doesn't get the sunlight as much. So I've moved everything to here. And these are my broad beans, which are now beginning to flower. And that's excellent news, because for flowering broad beans means that we're going to get some vegetables. So these broad beans are specifically, they were specifically bred to grow in containers. So I've got some nice flowers coming there. They've got the peas that are coming on. Snapdragons there aren't doing too well, but they are here and here. And then I've got mint and thyme. And then in here, I've got some tomatoes, two different coloured tomatoes and some sweet peppers. And then here I've got some more calendula, a climbing plant, which is a passion flower, and some sweet peas. So the vegetables are progressing. I'm really pleased that my broad beans are in flower, because that means I'm going to get vegetables. I will probably plant some more broad beans. And then over here on this bench, I've got some seedlings. I've got carrot and some other seedlings, and then in there I've got courgettes. So that's how the garden is looking April coming into May. So everything's now in beginning to grow, I meant to say. So yeah, that's brilliant. Okay, so I've cleaned my altars for Beltane, and also because I needed to switch stuff around. So this is my healing goddess altar, and I do have a client working under there where I'm just finishing off a working. So that's my goddess altar, which is themed very much on the healing goddess, and I do use this for healing. And then I have my altar. This is my witchcraft altar, and there's a couple of new things on it, and I've dressed it for Beltane. I don't go very fancy, but I got this gorgeous tile the other day from a local shop that sells crystals. So that's my altar there as well for Beltane. We've got Beltane this weekend, so I am going to do something. I'm not sure whether I'm going to share it with you guys or not, so I may do, I may not. And then my ancestral altar is here, and this orchid is now here as an offering for the ancestors. So I've got a couple more things on this altar. I have switched it up and cleaned it. So there's the orchid, and then my mum gave me this, which belonged to my great auntie Gladys here, and it was her sister who read the tea leaves and crystal ball. Yesterday was the anniversary of my husband's death. He's now been dead 4 years, so I kind of took that day out and sort of did something for myself. So those are my altars, which I thought I'd share with you. With my altar as well, I've decided to switch around the pictures that surround my altar, and I have various green men here, and then here I've switched some pictures around. So I have the horned god and goddess here, and then I have this picture here as a representation of the Lady of the Wood, the horned goddess, and the green man above. So I feel it keeps better in theme with this altar space of mine here. And then here I've just got a little aura room mist spray that I've made. And then this is another book which I keep on my altar because it talks about the seasons, and as it's Beltane, I'm going to work with this later. So I just thought I would show you and share with you my mini altar update. So blessed be. Okay, so let's talk about books this month. I am currently reading this book, and this is I saw this book on Instagram and was quite intrigued. So I'm more or less all the way through it. I class myself as a traditional witch, and I'm more drawn to the element of earth, but I wanted to read this and learn more about water witchcraft. It's very nicely written, and it's a very, very easy read, really easy read. And it discusses different water systems that you can work with, like your traditional streams, your holy wells, the sea. But it also talks about stagnant water and even canals. And that's the nearest body of water to where I am when I'm staying with my mum, is the canal. And I'm really pleased about that, because it tells you how to work with the canals. And the canals seem to be connected a lot to ghosts and spirits. So that's quite interesting. And it gives you a lot of folk magic, folklore. It really is a lovely read. I really am enjoying this book, and I recommend it if you're interested or you'd like to learn more about water witchcraft. This next book I got from World of Books, and they're really good. If you want an alternative to Amazon, World of Books are fantastic. Often they'll have certain books where you can buy 3 books and get the 4th one free. And I've had a couple of emails from them giving me a 10% discount, so I take advantage of that. And the reason I've bought this book is because I've recently done a practitioner's course on hoppy ear candling, and I've been wanting to do hoppy ear candling for a long time. So I'm now qualified and insured to practice hoppy ear candling. So this book was recommended, and I got this of World of Books. It's very interesting, very easy to read, and it covers the history of hoppy ear candling, what they're usually made of, contraindications, which would be, where you wouldn't use hoppy ear candling. It's very interesting, and it's not such a thick book either. So those are currently the 2 books I am reading. Okay, so moving on to some other books I've got this month. I have been shopping at a bookshop called World of Books, and they're really good. And if you want an alternative to Amazon, World of Books are brilliant. They offer free shipping. But also, if you sign up to them, you get 10% off your first order. And then every now and again, they'll send you an email through with 10% off. And they also do where you can buy certain books, and they'll have an offer on where you can buy 3 books and get the 4th book free. Now, that's not on all books, it's on their selection. So I've taken use of the 10% discount and also the buy 3 and get 4 books for the price of 3. And this is my collection of books. It's really, really, really reasonably priced. bookshop. Admittedly, they don't come the next day like Amazon, but this sells second-hand books, and the beauty of it is it's very eco-friendly because it stops books being tipped or going into landfill. And sometimes you can get titles that you can't on Amazon. So as I'm interested in folklore, I wanted to get this, and I've heard about Janet and Colin Board from other books about folklore. So I decided to get this, and this is my stash for reading, obviously. So as a folk practitioner of witchcraft, I do like to read this sort of thing, and I'm trained as an archaeologist. That's what I did for 15 years. So even, add that into the equation as well. But I've got this from them, and that's on my reading stack. This came as well. Now I've heard recommendations about lunar living. I'm a big fan of journaling, so I am going to incorporate this into my journaling. But I'm not going to do it cover to cover. I'm going to incorporate it and tie it in with whatever the moon phase is when I'm journaling. So that is a handy reference book and kind of like a textbook, I guess. Because I have a caravan in Glastonbury and try to get down there as often as I can, I thought I'd buy this. This was in there. Kathy Jones is the woman who is behind the goddess temple. She's the one that brought it about because she noticed the goddess in the landscape of Glastonbury. So I thought I'd get this, and this will come down to Glastonbury with me because, like I say, I do keep a lot of books down there as well. And then I like Denise Lynn. I like her books. I've read some of her books before. She writes well, and she covers subjects such as past lives, reincarnation, dreams, but I fancied this one. It called out to me, so I'm going to have and it's about, I think it's about finding your own inner native spirit, that sort of thing. This one I got because I am a Melissa in the Goddess Temple when I am in Glastonbury. So every time I go down, I will do some holding space in the Goddess Temple. That's what a Melissa is. We hold space in the Goddess Temple. And they have a lot of books in there, and this was one of them. And when I was in the temple last time, I did a 2-hour slot of holding space. I saw this book and I had a flick through it, and I really liked it. So when I saw it on World of Books, I decided to get it. And the beauty of it was in the offer of buy 3 and get the 4th book free. This was also in the same offer. So I've seen that, and I'm hoping to host online women's circles, that sort of thing. So that's the reason I've got that. And I've always been interested in Mary Magdalene. I'm not Christian, and I don't believe you have to be drawn to this person. But it's an interesting read from a historical and archaeological perspective. I love tarot, so this came up again on the buy 3 books and get the 4 free offer. So this is kind of like a textbook where you can work through your use the cards for certain projects. So I'm looking forward to delving in that. And then this one I also got from World of Books, which I'm going to read, and it's a medicine book for women. And I think it's about particular practices and how you can incorporate them into a women's circle. So I've got a nice big stack there to read, which I thought I'd share with you. As it's Beltane, I've decided to put some ribbons on a tree in my garden. They won't stay on, they'll come off because it's part of the working I wish to do. This is the only tree really that's suitable to do it because the rest are all kind of like evergreens. So I've put ribbons on here to represent those of past. One for my late husband who died 4 years ago. One for my father who died 6 months prior to my husband, 4.5 years ago. And one here for my late grandparents. So I've got this up ready and I'm going to do a little ritual later on today to celebrate Beltane. Okay, so here's my little bell fire for Beltane, and it's not lasted very long, but I'm burning in it the healing petitions that I've had for client, and I've also burnt in it anything which I want to let go of. And I've burnt that underneath the tree where I have these tied to. So it wasn't a huge Beltane ritual, but put on a few grains of incense. That's just making it burn nicely. There. Make sure all the that's burning those healing petitions away from my client and anything no longer serving me. And that's my Beltane ritual. So blessed Beltane, everybody. Okay, so I've come to the Peak District and I had gone to a stone circle, but the road is closed. So I've come to this bookstore. I've brought my mother, who's getting out of the car there, and we're going to have a look around this bookstore. So it's a nice change, and they sell bargain books. So we should go in and have a look around together shortly. Really great bookshop. Sell gifts as well. Okay, so there's a quick look. Hope you enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah, it comes back very stiff.